Shadowland. Book now at Ticketmaster.
To keep or not to keep, most of us have an opinion, but are we up with all the facts? He just dispelled some of the myths surrounding the New Zealand flag. Welcome the ever knowledgeable Max Cryer. Good morning.
I don't know if I can dispel myths.
We'll try.
Try.
So the PM has said that if he gets into the next term, that he will hold a referendum on this flag business. And so ideas are being thrown around. What do you think? What are you making of it all?
Well, one of the ideas being thrown around is the silver fern, which I think some deluded people are saying is instantly recognisable throughout the world as associated with New Zealand.
Deluded why?
Well, I question that because, sure, the power of the All Black image is very powerful.
Yeah.
And people who follow the All Blacks internationally recognise the silver fern. Nobody else does. I don't think it means anything in Poland, Czechoslovakia, Iraq, Tibet. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, fair call. In those countries.
It doesn't. And the other thing about the silver fern, which has never
Does it have to mean anything to them? What about what it means to us?
Well, what is the purpose of a flag? Is it to make us feel good, or is it to identify the nation? And anyway, if you look at the silver fern and saying it's unique to New Zealand, that is absolutely untrue. Australia has thousands of silver ferns. Okay. There are silver ferns grown in other nations all over the world. There's a park outside Melbourne which has hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of silver ferns all growing there. Wow. So it is not unique to New Zealand. Neither is the coru. The coru, which
that's
grows,
the other option, eh?
Well, yes, the ferns around the world grow into that curly shape.
Yeah.
There's hundreds of them in America. They're called the fiddleback fern. So, you know, we're in trouble.
Doesn't that, though, acknowledge our Māori heritage?
Yes, but a flag represents a nation as it is, what it has developed as a nation. There's the option of going back in history and acknowledging someone else's heritage. Not many nations do. America doesn't have any reference to its native heritage. Yeah. Australia doesn't. Canada doesn't. They represent the nation, not necessarily the detailed history.
So what are your thoughts then on featuring the Southern Cross?
Well, I may be out on a limb here, but I'm not a fan of the Southern Cross. I look at the sky and struggle to find it. To anyone in the Northern Hemisphere, it means almost nothing, especially America, where anything below the equator doesn't exist. You know, they don't even know it's there. And I think, is it 5 or 6 other flags already have it on? It's
amazing when you look at the number of flags that do. It's phenomenal too. And as well as the Union Jack, there are so many. Yeah.
Yes. Well, of course, the trouble with that, the New Zealand flag as it is at the moment, is that Australia copied the New Zealand flag. We did not copy them. Our flag is older than Australia's, and although they'll deny it till they're blue in the face, the design of the Australian flag is so close to the New Zealand flag that one can't... Mind you, in the days before television and internet and airmail, perhaps they didn't know, but certainly our flag is older.
Obviously, yes, you can see it there, the difference being the colour of the stars and the number of them.
Yes, and the size.
Yeah.
And the size.
Size of the stars,
yes,
You mentioned the Canadian flag just before. I mean, that's so simple.
It's instant.
Yes,
and
instantly recognisable.
It's instant.
Bang.
And it's very difficult in our case to find something, an image like that, which instantly tells the world. I don't think the silver fern does, because so many places have a silver fern, and the silver fern All Black image is not internationally known throughout the world. Other things are awkward. The two things in New Zealand imagery which are unique are a bit tricky, because a kiwi, everybody in the world knows that a kiwi comes from New Zealand, but it's a very awkward shape to put into a flag.
Could you simplify it?
Maybe a clever artist could, and that would certainly solve the problem. Then there's the tiki, but the tiki is, it has cultural affiliations of its own, and careful examination would be needed to see whether it's quite right to have a tiki in the middle of the flag.
You have another idea, though, don't you? And it stems back to the Commonwealth Games.
Well, the Commonwealth Games, when they were in Christchurch, a man in Wellington invented a design which became the symbol of those games, and it swept the nation. Everybody had it. It was on cars, it was on flags, it was in schools, it was on every newspaper you picked up, and it's now being completely forgotten. But I think that that image in the middle of a flag would be striking.
And so simple with those letters.
So simple, plus unique, because no other country in the world has the letters NZ.
Yeah, true. Do you reckon that a flag defines us in 10 seconds?
I think ideally a flag should have the pride, it should be a flag that the nation is proud of, and that the rest of the world identifies with that nation. And as we speak, I don't think our flag does that.
Okay, well, we shall wait and see what happens when this election rolls around and whether or not we have a referendum.